On May 30th of 1954, my dad, Dwight Richard Dudley, was born to Rita and Robert Earl Dudley into a Catholic family of 9 children. After having 9 children and not having a lot of money, it was extremely important to my grandma, also known as Gummy, to keep things exciting and fun for her kids, even though they were struggling.
Grandmom had a way of making ordinary things really fun.
We had to function closely as a family because we didn't have a lot of money, and you being so creative in so many ways, providing for us for great birthdays, and even if it was a horror parade where you dressed us up in funny outfits and made hats out of newspaper or whatever, that you found a way to
make everything important.
Yeah, that we were enriched by that.
And back then, paychecks were like $55, $65 a week was about what guys made. And I can remember having the lights turned out one time, and so I just lit a pumpkin and put a candle inside a pumpkin, and we played a game. We went in and roasted hot dogs in the fireplace, and nobody knew there was any problem at all.
That we got the power turned off.
Yeah.
You turn it into a game, which you often did.
Yeah.
You're able to come up with some good games that we played to keep us occupied.
Yeah.
So
and that was exciting. You wanted to do it every night, but I didn't.
There always seemed to be a lot of sanguine in the Dudley Clifford gang. Lots and lots of sanguine and perhaps sequins.
And once her children began to have children and so on, the family began to grow even bigger than it was before. Because of my Gummy's way of making everything fun, all holidays were fun. When Christmas rolled around, it was always a big party.
We start with Christmas carols. And anybody that plays an instrument or anybody that can sing will come up and do solos.
And at some point in the past, no one can remember exactly when, a tradition was born.
It's about turning your freaking books in on time because none of you do it! Toto, he's thirsty.
It has a really long, rich history. It didn't start out really as the 12 days of Christmas per se. It just started out my grandfather playing and banging on the piano, just putting out tunes and us singing lots of shows, if you will. And somewhere the 12 days of Christmas somehow grew out of that, I'm not sure. But yes, it has certainly been born and then some.
It's evolved from just taking a dust, I don't know what you call it, and my uncle putting it on his backside and walking around in circles with it, to full-blown costumes for every one of the 12 days of Christmas. You can't stop laughing. Every year it seems to get better and better, no matter what. You have to be there to really appreciate it. It's hard to explain. It's such a fun, lively, exciting way to end Christmas night. A lot of times we're irreverent.
You put the step 2, you put your...
But we don't care, we just want to laugh and enjoy each other, and that's a good way to do it.
So what is the role of the audience?
Oh, participation.
Let me try to explain it. The song 12 Days of Christmas is sung by friends and family members at the Christmas party. The song counts off a list of the 12 things for Christmas their true love gave to them and adds to the list in each verse, always ending with a partridge in a pear tree. 2 turtle doves, 3 French hens, 4 calling birds, 5 golden rings, 6 geese of laying, 7 swans of swimming, 8 maids of milking, 9 ladies dancing, 10 lords a leaping, 11 pipers piping, and 12 drummers drumming. And of course, last but not least, a partridge in a pear tree. So the partridge is the star of the show, the chosen one, if you will. He or she comes out all 12 times for each verse, in a different outfit each time, acting however they are dressed to entertain the crowd.
That's part of the greatness of it. Everyone's interpretation is their own, and it can go from one extreme to the other. That's one of the things that makes it so fun and entertaining.
You guys want to come with me? I'm going back to Never Neverland. We can eat candy for every meal.
Robin's generally doing the director.
I have to remember the 12 days of Christmas in my head, and I go around and I pick a starting point where I pick out 2 turtle doves, and then the next 3 people would be 3 French hens. I can't do it right now, I haven't practiced. But I go all the way through, and you don't know when you're going to pick till right before we say it. And then I just kind of go around and pick people out so that they'll all stand up at the same time. And I also keep the music going until the partridge has had a chance to change their clothes and actually make it back into the room. That's important. Timing. There's a little tiny group that gets together. I'm usually part of that.
So how do you dress the partridge?
As quickly as you can. Your mom is the head dresser, then she gets assistance from Cricket, Crystal, and myself.
The partridge is in a different, completely different outfit every single time. I've seen partridges dressed as jail convicts, nuns, baby Jesus.
We've had, I think, drag queen,
French maids. I don't remember. You name it, I've seen it.
You just really don't know what's going to come out each time. And that's where the thrill for the audience is they just have no flipping clue what's going through your mind. You just don't know. And that's what keeps them guessing. What the hell was that?
One of the funniest ones, and it might be just because of fond memories, but I believe that they dressed my mother, who was the partridge, and she was in a wheelchair. I believe they dressed her up as the Blessed Virgin. And that was pretty, the mother of 9 children, that was kind of a wild one I won't forget. I mean, it's just so disrespectful, but it's just so hilarious.
How are you picked to become the partridge in a pear tree?
There's barely a science to it. It has just maybe a little bit of alcohol.
There's a chatter amongst the director and crew. But we kind of get together as the night goes on and we figured out who has earned it for this year. If it's somebody that's graduated from college this year, there's a good chance they're going to be the partridge.
We just try to pick somebody who is non-suspecting whatsoever, and then we kind of tap them about 15 minutes before so that they are really caught off guard.
What makes a good partridge?
Usually, someone that's had a couple of drinks in them. I don't know. What makes a good partridge? You can't be afraid. The more fool of yourself that you made, the better it usually turned out. You gotta be just crazy.
The 12 Days of Christmas is still a huge tradition my family continues to celebrate. I had the honor of being the partridge last year in 2017. I even came out in the end dressed as my gummy in her coat to honor her.
I think a lot of it is important nowadays that we honor the partridge herself, Riri, who all this tradition really came from her mom and dad. We love being together, and I think that that's fostered and nurtured the friendships that you all have with each other and that we have together. It's just been an awesome relationship builder among our family through all the years. I don't think this tradition is going anywhere.